Good morning. My name's Catherine and I'm from the Advice Service here at the University of Lincoln. The information in this presentation is aimed at students applying for an undergraduate loan from Student Finance England. The student finance figures for 2021-22 have not been formally ratified yet, so I'm using information currently available for students starting their studies in 2020 to illustrate this presentation. If you have any questions, we have advisors available throughout the virtual open day via the live chat, and you can also email us directly at the email address displayed at the end of this presentation if you have any questions. Okay, so there's eligibility criteria. There are rules about nationality and residence. You must have no immigration restrictions on your status in the UK, and you must have been living in the UK for 3 years before the start of your course. The date used is always the 1st of September preceding enrolment if you start your course at the beginning of an academic year. You must be under 60 to get the full maintenance loan. You can only get funding for a limited number of years, the duration of your course plus 1 year minus any previous study. Student Finance England consider any part of a year to be a full year's funding, even if you just enrolled and only attended for a short time. You didn't actually have received any funding. Your previous study will count even if you've already paid off your student loan or you didn't receive a student loan because you studied prior to 1992. You cannot get an undergraduate student loan if you already hold a UK honours degree. Now, there is capacity within Student Finance England regulations should you have something called compelling personal reasons and fail to complete a course or a year, but this is extremely limited, and if you have any questions about that, please don't hesitate to contact us. Student loan is split into two categories, a tuition fee loan and a maintenance loan. And I'm going to start with the tuition fee loan. This is a non-means tested loan, so all eligible students can get it. You can get a maximum of £9,250, and this should always cover the cost of your tuition. You don't see it, it goes directly from Student Finance England to the university, you just have to pay it back. Now I'm going to talk about the maintenance loan. For all eligible students, the amount you can get will depend on where you're living and your household income. There is a non-means tested element, which means that some maintenance loans are available to all eligible students, regardless of household income. The loan will be paid in 3 instalments, usually at the beginning of each term, 3 to 5 days after teaching starts, in January, and then again in April. So what do we mean by household income? Well, it depends on your circumstances. Most students are classed as dependent, so Student Finance England will use your parents' household income. If you live with both parents, it will be their joint household income. If you live with one parent, it'll be their household income. So if they're single, it's just their own income. If your parent has a partner, then it will be the joint household income of the parent and their partner that Student Finance England will use to calculate the amount of student loan payable. You may be classed as independent. If you're 25 or older, you'll automatically be classed as independent. If you turn 25 during your studies, you'll be classed as independent from the following academic year. You're also classed as independent if you're married or you have care of a child. You may also be classed as independent if you can prove that you've been financially independent for 3 years before the start of your course, or can demonstrate that you're estranged from your parents or you have no living parents. If you're classed as independent, then Student Finance England will use your household income, and in some cases, if you have one, your partner's income is also included. So let me show you how household income affects the amount of maintenance loan you'll receive. The actual calculation is exact, but here are some examples. You can find the household income in the first column. Then you move across and you'll see how the means testing is applied. This is the amount of money that you will have to live on or to pay for your accommodation, your bills, books, food, travel. It's the money you have to maintain yourself. You can also see here the tuition fee loan, and at the end, the total amount you have borrowed. This is an annual process, so must be applied for each year. You should apply as soon as possible, as it can take some time for Student Finance England to do their assessments. There is a deadline. You must make your application no more than 9 months after you enrol on your course. However, most students really want their loan at the beginning of their studies, so my advice is to apply as soon as you possibly can. You can get funding to study part-time, and this mode of study does suit lots of students. It may be that you want to work and combine both work experience and study. You may have a health condition or a caring responsibility that limits the amount of time you have available to study. Full-time study requires a similar time commitment to full-time work. For part-time study, you can get a loan for your tuition fees and a pro rata maintenance loan. Part-time study will not affect eligibility for most welfare benefits, but full-time study usually does. So, for example, a full-time student cannot receive carer's allowance, but a part-time student can. To be eligible for part-time funding, you must be studying at a minimum intensity of 25% of the full-time course, and you must be completing your course within 16 years. It's quite flexible. If you have a disability, long-term health condition, mental health condition, or learning difference such as dyslexia, you may be able to claim disabled students allowance. This does not come in the form of cash. It is available to pay for assistive technology and training to use it, personal support such as a scribe or a mentor, travel costs, etc. It's not means tested, and as it's not a loan, you do not have to pay it back. You can get much more information about that from the Student Wellbeing Service. If you have dependents, there is additional support available in the form of grants. These are not repayable, but means testing may apply. If you think you might be eligible for any of these and would like further information about them, then please ask us via the live chat or email us directly by the email at the end of the talk, because we're here to help you. There are a few exceptions to the rules I've described. Some courses can be funded even if you have previous studies, such as nursing. Some courses are longer. You may be able to get additional funding to cover these extra weeks. However, it's important to remember that this additional funding is subject to means testing, so not everybody will get it. If you have any questions about this or anything else, then do email us. We're here to help. The student loan for a 3-year degree for a student studying outside London is in the region of £55,000. It's a lot of money and it shouldn't be taken lightly. But at the same time, it's a fantastic opportunity for you to invest in yourself. I'm going to go through repayments and interest over the next few slides. Let's take a look at how it's repaid. Unlike a commercial loan, the amount you have to pay back is not linked to the amount you've borrowed. Until you're earning above the threshold, you are not expected to make any repayments at all. Once you start earning more than the threshold, you're going to pay 9% of everything you earn above that level. So if you're earning £2,000 above the threshold, 9% of that is £180. When that's broken down into monthly instalments, it works out at £15 per calendar month. The payments come out at source, so your payslip will say tax, national insurance, student loan. You can't forget to pay it. Now, if you're self-employed or you choose to move abroad, you'll have to make your own arrangements. But for most people, it couldn't be simpler. If your income drops below the threshold, you stop paying. The more you earn, the more you pay. The loan does attract interest from the moment you take it out. While you're studying, it's applied at the retail price index plus 3%. When you stop studying, if you're earning less than the threshold, then interest is applied at retail price index only. And then it rises back up to retail price index plus 3% on a sliding scale until you meet the top threshold, which currently is £47,835. Okay, so to conclude, find out as much as you possibly can. The student loan is a lot of money, as I said. It shouldn't be taken lightly, but again, it is a fantastic opportunity to invest in yourself. Remember, you can only really do it once. Student Finance England will fund you for the duration of your course, plus 1 year, minus any previous study. Make sure you know what your budget's going to be. The information in this presentation should enable you to get an idea of how means testing is applied to help you identify what level of student loan you might be able to get. This should enable you to start planning your budget for living costs and choosing your accommodation. Okay, thank you very much for listening. I hope the information in this presentation has been useful. There are advisors available throughout the live chat during this event, and you are more than welcome to email us directly at the email address currently being displayed on the screen. I hope the presentation has been enjoyable, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the virtual open day. Thank you very much.